In this video, I'll be going over the Module 8 assignment for coding collisions for CS330. I've already copied and pasted the text file document into a new project source.cpp. So, I mean, I guess the school had budget issues with CS330 and they couldn't provide you the CPP file. But whatever, I'm not complaining. So you just create a new project or use a template from what you've been doing for over the course of this class. I just did a new project. I added my source.cpp file. I copied and pasted the code in, and then the linmath header here is in week one's learn OpenGL. I don't know if it's OpenGL sample, but it's in where that source file is for that the week one where you had to just change your name, like get it to run, change your name. So that's in there. Get the linmath file into your coding collisions project folder, and then go ahead and add it in, and we're good to go there. So first things first is yeah, oh yeah, the includes. If you need to adjust this, you don't need all the includes, the same ones as you've been doing for each week. For the include directory, you just need glfw/include, right? That's it. And then the library directories, you just need the glfw library. You don't. I don't think it doesn't matter. I'm still running the program on 32-bit, and it's working out just fine. And then the linker, you need just glfw3.lib and opengl32.lib. And then once that's all done, you're ready to run this. So running it right now, actually we're gonna run it later. Let's go over what's going on in the code. So this degrees to radians is this implied. It's converting degrees to radians for calculations later on. And then we have our enumerations for our brick types, which is reflective and destructible, and the enumeration for if the brick is on or off. Then we have our brick class, which is it has a float variable for colors, it's a float variable for the XY position and the width, and then it's got the enumeration brick type and enumeration on off. And then the brick here constructor is where it passes in the brick that you're going to name down below, which is I'll get to there in a second. Then you got your positions, your width, and then your colors. And then it creates that brick based on the brick type, and then it sets it to on, right? And then we have your draw brick. This is where it will draw that brick over and over, right? And then the half side is basically this is just rendering each side of the brick, which is another funny thing, is that we're pretty sure we never used GL Vertex 2D. At least I didn't throughout the course when I took it, but let's introduce new things in week 8. But the code's pretty straightforward, even though it's not really commented. You can kind of figure out what's going on, or at least generally what's going on. Then in the circle, obviously, we got a float for colors, we got the float for the radius of the circle, we got the positions, X and Y for the circle, the speed, and the direction which is going. And what's funny is I have corrected the comments. There's not many comments in this code, but what's here is wrong, because I believe that they had one was up, it's actually down. They had 3 is up, 3 is actually no, they had 3 is down when 3 is actually up. And then I think 5 and 6, it said up and to the right and down to the up and to the right and up and to the left, which is incorrect, right? So this is the new commented code. This is what each direction does on this line. And then we obviously got the circle, which passes in the variables. This is creating the circle based on your X, Y, your positions, your radius, and etc. etc. And then this one, check collision, is that every time, well, I think it's checking for collisions all the time. Pretty sure. Let's go back down to the code. But so if a circle hits a brick that's reflective, it will get a random. It'll you get a random direction and then send that circle in that specific direction, right? And then, but if it hits a brick that's destructible, it'll turn that brick off. So it's basically the context is this brick is what the current circle or whatever circle makes contact with it is. So that's what it is with it hits the brick, bounces or destroys it. Get random direction is that it gets a random direction between 1 and 8. Then the move one step is that this is constantly running to move whatever amount of circles you got in. It's constantly doing this to check if it's going in a certain direction, and then if it is let's see, y is greater than -1. Yeah, okay. So this comment is wrong, right? So because we now know that 1, 5, and 6 are actually all down. I'm not going to correct all this. I've commented enough, apparently. If they can't comment this whole thing, I'm not going to comment the whole thing. So it's actually down. So this is saying if the current y of each circle is greater than -1, which is the bottom of the screen, plus radius, it'll keep moving down at the speed of the circle that was up above, which is the 0.03. Or if this isn't hit, then the else is the new direction will be a random direction. Okay, and that's so on and so forth. You might have to tweak some of this code here in the move one step. I don't know. That's for you to figure out. And then this is the draw circle. This draws each circle over and over, uses that degrees to radians. And then boom, there's your draw bit. Okay, and then this is the vector for the circle vector using the circle stuff for the world. That's what we're doing. Initializing the world. Then what we got going on? Okay, so this section is creating your bricks, right? So they see that we have. I don't know why they just didn't do 2 reflectives and 2 destructibles, but whatever. I wasn't in charge. So we got your bricks that are reflective. You got your positions. You got your, what was this one? I think this is the width, right? So X, Y, width, and then your last 3 are the colors, right? For both of those. And then for the movement here, main function is that it is constantly pretty sure, yeah, so each circle in the world, I believe is what this is. I should have checked it before. I don't remember. But it's checking. It's constantly checking for anything in the current vector if it's hitting a brick, and if it's hitting, it just checking the collision up above, and then if you go back up there, like obviously it'll either, if it determines that there was a collision, it'll either destroy the brick or bounce off it and get the new direction. And this one is going to be moving all the circles, the move one step, be moving all the circles that you've created in the world in their respective directions. And this is going to be drawing all the circles in your world, right? And then outside here is is drawing your bricks. That's pretty straightforward. And that's it for that. Now the fun stuff is this is another thing I liked. Could have coded this a little better. So right now, if we run this gets me every time. I love it. All right. So if you press the space key, it will create 1 circle. It created 2 that time. Create 2 there. I held it a little longer, creates 3. So basically, it'll create most of the time more than 1 because of that key press. So right now it's fine because we always want to whirl the circles. But what if you wanted to do something else? You might have had this problem with when you were setting your perspective in ortho view, is where you actually had to create a variable for your key press and implement that with that. So basically, you using this existing code, you just create a bool for if the key was pressed or not, and set it to false, and then implement that if it was pressed and if the key press was false, then it creates your circle and pushes the new circle to the back of the world, the vector, and then you want to make the key presses true then. Like then an else statement to where your key press is back to false, so you can create more than one circle. Or if you didn't want to, if you only want you want to make a brick breaker game, you would just want to set that to false and let the one circle go. Okay. Now let's go to boop. There's the collision text file. The coding collisions prompt. So I'm just gonna say it. It is week 8. You've made it this far. They're not asking you much. They're not asking that much of you. Don't overdo it. You don't need. You just need a slight manipulation of the code to take care of the prompt. You're good. Because originally, like I was gonna add textures and stuff, and I'm like, you know what, this is way too involved. I'm tired. I just want to relax. So I've kept it simple, right? So you pick one of these from the prompt, right? Is you got your they want you to arrange the bricks in an organizational structure that promotes engagement with animation, blah 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 blah. So you can change the size of the bricks or add a manually controlled paddle at the bottom of the screen and using the brick item as the base, right? I actually did both of these. I made like I said, I made mine a brick breaker type game. So I had it to where the bricks were more thinner out, and I had it to where you could actually move a paddle. Again, you don't really have to do that. You can just change the size of the bricks, call it a day. That's actually real simple. And then this one, the next step 2 of the prompt here is where you want to mess with the physics of the circle. So if you want to alter the speed, that's easy. Just edit the circle variable, call it a day. If you want to do it to where it more follows physics, then you go up to that move 1 step, and you want it to be not getting random directions, basically. So you can mess around with that, and then what's the add friction to specific surfaces. You can do that if you want to, look, whatever. And then let's see, the final ones is yeah, okay, so you can require the brick to take a certain number of hits. That's probably the easiest. Or you just have it change the color or texture. Oh, change the color, not texture, of the brick when it's hit. Like, it's like a lot of I would just, again, you're week 8, pick the simplest option, change it, and then go. Call it a day. And then I think, so yeah, you can combine both. Because the requiring the brick stuff is just basically you just have to implement in the destructible stuff is just like you just get a counter going. Is that each time a circle hits it, a certain variable gets at +1, and then once it hits a certain amount, then it turns it off, right? And then alter. Oh, I just read that. Hi. Then alter the states of the circles upon collision. I personally just did change their color to where it just obviously randomly change, like it'll change color on collision, which I think you just, because if you remember what I was saying over here earlier, is that this is per each, I think it's per each circle here. Actually, I think it would be in the draw circle thing, is where you could just get a randomize whatever. I actually don't remember. You can figure that out on your own. I've already classed this class. Sucks to suck, guy. So, or you could have it, just whatever. I think this one might be a little more involved than the other 3, but it's still you just got to mess around with it to change the colors and stuff. But that's pretty much it. And then obviously you explain your code changes, which most of it's like, oh, I changed the variables, and then I implemented this. But you could also talk about if you do implement it so where only one ball can spawn. Talk about that too. But yeah, so that's what's going on with the code, what you can do, and hopefully you're listening to this and you're looking in good shape of the class. Hopefully. So yeah. But if there's anything I missed with this that you've noticed, let me know, and I could always upload a new video with the added information.